Hello, and happy Wednesday, I think. It's Wednesday, right? 22nd? Yes, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Doing something a little bit different today. Different time, different style, different content. Everything's different. Yes, it is. Okay, thank you for confirming. Gets a little confusing sometimes, especially around the holidays. I guess I should also say happy Thanksgiving, since it's literally tomorrow. Wow, the year just kind of went by in the blink of an eye. Does that more and more. Hello, Debbie. Welcome. So like I said, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. My normal stream will be at 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. But with the holidays being upon us, that also means that there's a bunch of sales upon us too for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And the one that I always look forward to the most is, of course, the Steam sale. Because there's just so many games that go on sale during this time of the year. And this is typically when you can get like the best deals. Steam has a lot of sales throughout the year, but Black Friday, Cyber Monday is kind of the cream of the crop, if you will. I confuse you. How am I confusing you, Abood? Hi, David. The next 2 days, I'm going to be getting drunk and full of food. You know what? Great way to spend Thanksgiving, right? Hey, Tony. Must have just popped over from GD's stream. Thanks for coming by. So basically, excuse me. The point of me doing this stream today is to try to help people figure out what the heck they want to get from the Steam sale this time around. I don't know about you guys, but I always find it a little overwhelming because there's just so much on sale. And I always give myself a budget. I always give myself a budget for how much I'm willing to spend on these sales, so that I don't go like over the top. And you really want to get the best bang for your buck when you're doing some kind of budget, whether that's a, $20, $50, $100, whatever it is. Gigi? Huh? What are you talking about, Abood? Black Friday, my Ralph Lauren aftershave skin cost me 61 pounds. Jeez. Thanks for last night. I could take that the wrong way, but I'll try not to. Give me one turn-based RPG recommendation, I'll flip out. Abood, I have to give turn-based RPG recommendations too. I can't just not recommend one of the types of games that I play a lot of. It was 81 pounds down to 61 pounds. I mean, it's a little bit of a sale. Still expensive though. Oh my goodness, you guys are killing me already. Excuse me. Okay. So, what might be helpful is to first go to my wish list. And some of these are not actually out yet. They should be towards the bottom. Let me see. Yeah, so I have a bunch of games on here that are not actually out yet, so they are not applicable right now. But we can take a look at the ones that I have been keeping an eye out for. There's also some that, there's one on here that's not out yet, but is coming out soonish, February. So this could be pre-ordered, but as you can see, it's not part of the sale. I don't think they typically put games on sale that are just available to pre-purchase. So we'll just ignore that one. You tell him, Kitten, or next time I make him think a little more. Okay. Fair enough. Actually, I apologize. This is not sorted by discount. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. So I'm the kind of player that bounces around a lot of different genres. Those of you who have come to my streams, which I think is everyone here right now anyway, know that I play RPGs, CRPGs like Baldur's Gate. I play horror games like Demonologist, Phasmophobia, Outlast Trials. I play murder mystery games like Vaudeville and Alan Wake 2. Gosh, I'm trying to think, what else have I played recently? There's been some other stuff. Oh, I've played some indie titles like Dredge, Paleo Pines. I played a bunch of games during the Steam Next Fest events, both that happened this year. So I'm kind of all over the place, but hopefully that means that I can recommend something that appeals to you. Recently just hopped over to some horror games. These people enjoy me getting terrified. I mean, of course they do. That's just a thing. We were here. I'm sorry. Yes, I have also played some puzzle escape-like games with a bood. My goodness, you sensitive little tart. Okay. Lamplighters League. This is not on a great sale right now, unfortunately. It's still pretty new. As you can see, it came out in October. But this is a really great one for anyone who enjoys XCOM or XCOM style games. I would basically describe this as like Indiana Jones meets XCOM, because it's about, you know, these treasure hunters. It has like kind of the style, if you will, of an Indiana Jones like film. But then in terms of the combat format, it's, you know, it's the grid based, it's turn based, it's very strategic. Everything is thought out in advance. Let me actually click on it and hopefully not get blasted by this. So it's the same kind of team-based strategic gameplay that you see in XCOM. Some of the best deals are definitely around Black Friday. Yes, for sure. I would say if you could only put aside money one time a year to buy just things that you wanted, not things you need, but things you wanted, this is the time to do it, especially for games. And obviously there will be sales not just on Steam, but also on Epic Games, on GOG, on GameStop, Best Buy. If you're looking for physical games too, there's obviously other options out there. I personally think that the Steam sale is like one of the better ones to take advantage of, which is why I'm covering that. But obviously there are other options available for you. Also, I mean, I guess this makes sense that this game is so much like XCOM because it is also published by Paradox. They just seem to have a style of games that they like to publish. The developer, however, is Harebrained Schemes. So you can kind of see from some of these, let me go back, from this one right here, you can see from this screenshot, this definitely has like an XCOM look to it. Let me see if I can I? No, I was going to try to blow it up like you do with your web pages, but I can't. So you can see that you've got, you know, the movements, their target reticles. It's telling you the percentile to hit. Select your different characters. You've got an ability here called Tether. So it's definitely going to have some differences from your XCOM, because it's set in a completely different setting. For those who aren't familiar with XCOM, XCOM is sci-fi. It's all future-based, and you're fighting against aliens. So as far as like the flavor or the style of the game, yeah, that's going to be very different. But you can see that in addition to the way that the combat plays out, there's also some similarities in, okay, you know, you're going to get 3 skills that are available to attach to each character. You get some equipment slots just like you do in XCOM. So if you're a fan of that, I definitely recommend this one. I have really, really, really been wanting to get it myself. It looks like totally the right kind of game for me. Oh, and here you can see that they also made the Shadowrun trilogy, which I forgot about. But Shadowrun trilogy, I've only played a little bit of it, but it is still the same idea from the perspective of turn-based strategic combat. The feel of the game, Shadowrun versus XCOM, is quite different, but the core concept is the same. in terms of combat. So I've been looking at this one since before it even came out. The only reason I haven't bought it yet is because of the price. This is not a full price game. As you can see, it's crossed out $50, so it's not quite full price, but 20% off isn't like a steal. You know, it's not the best you could get. I try to go for games that are somewhere around 50% or higher. And I'm sorry, let me catch up on the chat here. If you need horror games to stream, have you checked out Homebody? Yeah, that's another one to check out for sure. Hey, Shiny. I'm having a good afternoon. Thank you. It's been suggested to me, Brandon, along with like 10 other horror games. Yeah, you are not hurting. You are not hurting for horror games, for sure. Not at all. There are many choices. So in addition to looking at my wish list, I'll also go through some of my library because a lot of those are on sale as well. Okay, so that's Lamplighters League. And like I said, I'm holding off for now. I'm going to get it at some point, but 20% just isn't enough to entice me to pull the trigger yet. Oh, did it change my order again? What are you doing? Oh, it says discount. Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, I see. Some new ones went on sale. Yeah, this was not the order you gave me last time. Okay. For some games that are a little bit cheaper to begin with and are 20% off, I may still recommend them. For instance, Let's School. This is one of the games that I played during Steam Next Fest. It's an indie game, an indie, as you can see, management, city builder, strategy game. It's a sim. And although 20% off isn't much, it was only $20 to begin with. So, you know, a little more flexibility there. I will say this is not a sim for the faint of heart. Okay, just disclaimer here. This is an intense sim. And I am telling you, as someone who has played you know, all the SimCity games. I've played the City Builders game. I've played a lot of the Sims games themselves. It's intense. I think City Skylines, excuse me. I played the original City Skylines. That one's pretty intense too. And the second one also looks intense. I would say that this is like at the same level, but in a different direction, because it's not like you're managing an entire city. You're managing the school system of that city, but it gets into so much intricate detail. And if you want to see some gameplay of it, I do have a Let's Play video on my channel of this game. So if you're interested in sim-like games, I would recommend checking it out. But it's a little intimidating, honestly. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the scheduling portion of how to do this, because you have to like make sure you have enough teachers to cover all of the class times throughout each day. So like if you don't have enough teachers, your schedule is incomplete, and then that affects the students, of course, and you have to keep the students' grades to a certain level for like funding and stuff. It's very, very intricate. But if that's your thing, if you really like something that is like that intensely strategic, then this is your game for sure. And I'd say even at only a 20% off sale, it's still not that bad. It's $16. So you're not going to break your bank with this one. Another one that, not this one, I do really like this one, but 20% off I don't feel is enough. Another one that I think is worth it at only 20% off is Bread and Fred, because it is just a low price game in general. It's normally $15, it's down to $12. So this is a really cutesy game. I saw the folks at Loading Ready Run stream this one, and it just looks so freaking adorable. So it's a co-op game, hence Bread and Fred. So you're playing two little penguins, as you can see here. Let me actually click on it. And you have to basically like go through these challenging like platforming sections and try to get to the goal. And you can see they're attached by the rope there. So the challenge of this not only is like the platforming, of course, but that you have to constantly work together, because as you can see from this little video here, you're tethered. So if somebody makes a bad move and decides, I'm just going to go without you, well, there you go. You both fall. So this is really cute. I would recommend this for a couple different players. If you're the kind of player that really enjoys like some co-op chaos, then I would recommend it for you. So if you're the kind of person that likes something like, say, Overcooked, because of that really crazy interaction between you and the other player to reach a goal, Bread and Fred has that same kind of idea where, you know, work together through the chaos and try to reach that goal. But also, if you're someone who just really enjoys like cutesy platformers, then I'd say this is still for you too. Or cutesy, I guess I should say puzzle platformers rather than just platformers. It's a little bit more than that. So this one I'm actually going to be picking up because I want to play it on stream. So if it's something that you're interested in, but maybe you're not sure yet if you actually want to play it, you know, just put it on your follow list or something, or on your wish list, and you can check me out streaming it at some point, hopefully soon. Speaking of games like this, it's no longer on my wish list because I already bought it, but I just purchased Overcooked 2. Let me see what the sale is on that right now. Overcooked 2. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. I bought it when it was on sale. Okay, it's still on the same sale. So this game is 75% off right now, which is really good. So down to just under $7 from $25. If you've played the first Overcooked, then you already know what you're getting yourself into. You know what you're signing up for when you play this. It's you know, more of the same, but with different like designed levels and stuff, as you can see from the video. If you've never played Overcooked, I don't think it really matters which one you start with. To be honest, it's just going to be chaotic fun either way, chaotic co-op fun. And this one says it's up to 4 players. I don't know if that was the case with the first one or not. I'm going to have to look at that. I've only played it with just myself and one other person, but Brandon and I were playing Overcooked, the first one, on Xbox for a while, and it's always a good time. It can be frustrating. It's super challenging. But again, if you like that co-op chaos, if you just enjoy playing goofy, cutesy games like this with others, then I highly recommend either the first or second Overcooked game. It can be a way to break friendships, though. I should probably put a warning out there. If you have a really close friendship, really close relationship with a boyfriend or girlfriend or something, this could rise the tensions temporarily. Might have to take a walk afterwards and cool off, but it really is a good time. I highly recommend it. I'm actually streaming this one tonight, 8 p.m. EST. So if you are interested in the Overcooked games, but you're just not sure if it's for you, come to the stream tonight, check it out for a bit, and maybe that'll help you make up your mind. I have not played any Overcooked games. I definitely want to watch people play this, though. Yeah, it's one of those games where it's not just fun to play it, it's fun to watch it too, because it's just madness. The whole thing is madness. It's basically like taking a game like Cooking Mama or something similar, and then just like throwing it into a piranha-filled pool, essentially. That's what it's like. AOFG. So definitely recommend that. Let me go back to my list here. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay, I was talking about Bread and Fred. I'm gonna talk about this game just a little bit. I don't recommend buying this yet. This was also a very recent release, October 19th. 20% off. I don't feel is really worth it when a game is already, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks. So I don't think this is enough of a sale to pull the trigger yet. However, I will say that this was one of the most polished demos I have ever played. I played this during the Steam Next event that happened, I think it was actually in October, but a little bit before this released. And maybe that's why it was so polished, but that demo was just on point. And it was a really interesting game. I haven't played any of the games based on Agatha Christie novels before. I am familiar with Agatha Christie. We read And Then There Were None during school a while back, so I recall that one. I haven't read this one yet, but it's on my list. It was very polished. The voice acting was on point. The systems were good. It was just a very good quality game. So if you enjoy murder mysteries, this is your game for sure. I would keep an eye on it. I wouldn't buy it yet, but I would put it on your wish list and keep an eye on it. I'm sure it's going to have a bigger sale eventually. It's just really new right now. But yeah, this one was just chef's kiss. I saw my boy play it. I'm going to grab it when it's cheaper. Got to put my Detective Yoda skills. Yeah, exactly. This is on my list for my murder mystery. Well, it used to be Murder Mystery Sundays. Now it's Murder Mystery Fridays. But this is definitely on my list. And I am absolutely looking forward to playing this. The demo really impressed me. I'm going to skip over some of them. So bear with me here. We're going to get into some better sales here. Okay, 40% off's not bad. 40% off is okay. I haven't played Cult of the Lamb, disclaimer, but I've seen other people play it, and it looks freaking adorable. It is just so quirky, just such a quirky, floofy game. And obviously, I like supporting indie developers as well. So how do I even go about recommending this? I mean, you can see from the video that it's got that cutesy style that you're used to from oh my goodness, the character's right in front of me too. Something about Starve. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank, guys. What is wrong with me? Starving Together. Don't Starve. Don't Starve. There we go. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? That's like such an easy thing to remember. Yeah, it's from the publisher is Devolver Digital, who has also put out the Don't Starve games. So it's got the same kind of like quirky, cutesy, dark style to it. It kind of crosses between genres. And you can see some of it listed in the tags for it, because it's got a base building element, but it's got some Stardew Valley like elements too, about like resource collecting, farming, stuff like that. But then it's also got a battling system. So it's like trying to fill a couple different genres, and which is kind of, for the most part, unique. And it just does it in like the quirkiest way possible. And there's so much poop in this game too. There's sheep poop in this game, and you have to like use the poop for like farming, and like I guess the sheep can eat the poop too. I don't know. It's really weird. I'm not sure what the fascination with sheep poop is in this game, but it's freaking everywhere. So I guess if that's something that you think will make you feel nauseated, maybe don't buy this game. Of course, it's, all cartoony, but Cult of the Lamb, Sister Geek commands the cult. Yeah, I don't want to be in charge of the poop cult. No offense. But the the poop part aside, it looks super cute, and I really enjoy base building games. So if you like stuff like this is going to sound kind of weird because it's a totally different aesthetic, but if you like things like the Civilization games or the Age of Empires games, the base builders, like there is an element of that to this game. It's just in a very different style. You don't know Fascination with Poop until you've played Binding of Isaac. Oh, okay. Good to know. So if you want like some of the more strategic stuff that you get from like an Age of Wonders, Civilization, Gourd, Age of Wonders, like those kinds of games, you do get a piece of that in this, but then like plop on a bunch of cutesy, fluffy animals and some farming and some fishing and some fighting and a lot of poop, and then, you know, you've got this. So I've seen people play this. I just never got to join the cult and watch what happens to my character. Hey GD, thanks for stopping by after your stream. Appreciate it. You can join a cult, you can have more fun as a follower, but get paid more if you're a leader. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, either way, lots of poop. Okay, so enough talking about the poop game. That's what it's going to be called now, the poop game. Grounded. So the way that I can best describe Grounded is if they turned Honey, I Shrunk the Kids into a game. That's kind of an old movie reference. So maybe not everyone is going to get that reference. Look it up. Do you have Disney Plus? It's on there. But little people in big sandboxes, I guess I'll call them, like arena sandboxes or playgrounds. I guess they're calling them playgrounds with big yucky bugs. Like basically as if you were shrunk down to the size of, I don't know, maybe a little bigger than a toothpick and thrown into your backyard. That is accurate on the movie Grounded. One of my friends is big on the Binding of Isaac. It is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in survival game. Yeah, yes. I'm glad somebody recognizes that. That makes me happy. That is essentially what this is. It is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids turned into a survival game. So, even if you're not familiar with that movie, if you are someone who likes survival games, you like to craft items, you like to have to, you know, take care of your character, you like having to build bases. So if you're someone who enjoys things like either Forest or Sons of the Forest, Stranded Deep, Raft, God, there's so many of them now. What's the Green Hell? Something like that. There are so many survival games now. There's just been such a boom of them. It's crazy. Oh, The Long Dark is another excellent survival game. I'll have to see if that's on sale. But yeah, if survival is your thing and you like the idea of having to like go out there and battle like ants and stuff, then, or you just like the idea of being in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, then this is your game. Rick Moranis is funny. Yeah, he was funny in that. Awesome classic movies. Yep, definitely a childhood memory, that one. If Kitten plays that sometimes, you're in charge of the poop cleaning. Okay. Poor GD. Already got voluntold to clean the poop. Be the mucker. That, I don't know if people will know that term, but that's somebody who mucks the stalls in a stable. Okay, next up we've got Best Month Ever. This one should have a free demo still. Let me check. Did they get rid of the demo? I'm sorry, I think they got rid of the demo. This is another indie game. This is really only going to be appealing to you if you enjoy highly narrative-based games. You can see from the tags here, emotional point and click, female protagonist. So this is highly story-driven. It's about making decisions and dealing with the consequences of those decisions. So if you're someone that likes the Life is Strange games, then this is probably something you'd want to check out as well. They did used to have a demo. I'm kind of miffed that they don't have it available anymore, but it's definitely supposed to be along the same line of Life is Strange, where, you know, choices matter and you're not doing a whole lot of interaction within the game itself. It's mostly like moving around. It's point and click, you know, you're interacting with things, but the majority of the game is centered around that narrative and then making choices to push that narrative forward. If you're a choose your own adventure kind of person, if you really like choose your own adventure games as a kid or even as an adult, this will probably appeal to you as well. The folks that made the Telltale games. Yeah, Telltale games. If you liked any of the Telltale games, this would probably appeal to you as well. Okay, moving on up the list here. Let me take a sip of water. I'm getting dry. I've been talking a lot. Okay. Next up is Played Up. So this one is pretty ding-dang similar to Overcooked. I watched Game Grumps play this together, and it was pretty freaking hilarious. I think the core difference, unless Overcooked 2 has changed something, the core difference is that you're basically not just managing like the day-to-day I'm cooking and serving customers, you're also managing the restaurant space. So it's not like you're moving from one restaurant space to another, to another, to another, and just kind of like moving through the map like you do in Overcooked. You're actually like upgrading your restaurant, and you're adding more tables, and you're adding lights, and you're adding decorations and stuff like that. So that I believe is the core difference between the two games. But this one does have a demo, so that's nice. So you can check it out for free, and it's 50% off, which is pretty good. So $10, not bad. What is this, and when are we playing it? Are you talking about this one, Abood, or were you talking about a different one? Hey, Jolly. Welcome, Jolly. Happy Wednesday. Are you guys trying to tell me something? Oh my goodness. Okay. Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition. So this should be the updated version here. So I think most people are pretty familiar with the Age of Empires series. Even if you haven't played it, you've probably at least heard of it. It's been around for quite some time. Man, I can't even think. Like, I played one of the Age of Empires games like a long time ago. I think it was in like early 2000s, I want to say. This is a long running series for sure. I don't know. I need new games besides Call of Duty. Yeah, I'm trying to help you with that. Is the stream lagging, guys? Let me know if the stream's lagging. It should be okay. I'm not using much power just to show you guys Steam, but let me know if it is acting up. Photon Man? If you know, you know. What are you talking about, Jolly? Okay. I guess if you know, you know. Yeah, sorry, Abood. I think it is on your end. I'm being told the stream is healthy. It was a cheat. Oh, it was a cheat on Age of Empires. Gotcha. Yeah, back when I was playing Age of Empires, I was pretty young and hadn't really explored the world of cheats yet. But this is Age of Empires 4. It's the special anniversary edition. If you're not familiar with Age of Empires, maybe you're familiar with the Civilization games. And it's very much the same thing. Very much the same style, I should say. They're not like duplicated games, but very much the same style. It's strategy. It's real-time strategy. It's wars. It's massive conflict. It's building bases. It's resource management. So if those are the kinds of games you enjoy, something that is very heavy on the management, I guess micromanagement, really. If you enjoy micromanagement in games, then Age of Empires or the Civilization games would be a good fit for you. Hello, OFG for a second time. YT hiccup. Yeah, YouTube can be a little wonky. I know they were having a hiccup the other day with the metrics. It said they were having issues and things might not be displaying properly. Okay, another sip of water here. Have you found any great storyline games? I would say this one here that I was talking about before, OFG, best month ever. That one looked really promising. Let me jump into my actual library now. So, also not all of these are mine, just FYI. Like, I do not actually own this many games. Some of these are Brandon's. Where are they? I think they're under completed. Let me just look for it. Okay, yes. So these games here, the Life is Strange games, I would recommend these very, very, very highly for anyone looking for a highly narrative-driven game. So you'll see there's 4 of them here. The first one, second one. Life is Strange Before the Storm is like a prequel to Life is Strange, and then Life is Strange True Colors is their latest one, which is a totally different cast of characters. Life is Strange 2 is also a different cast of characters, but they're all happening within the same world. I like the ones with good story. Do you recommend a game called Baldur's Gate 3? Of course I recommend Baldur's Gate 3. What are you, nuts? Along the lines of Civ games, all the old men like me might like Anno 1800, and that's on a real good sale. Something reviews to talk about. OFG, you definitely should play Horizon Zero Dawn after Witcher 3. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn was very good. Updates, because all the issues here and there. Yeah, there were a lot of updates recently. Hide my adult games, please, and thank you. How? I don't actually know how to, like, filter that kind of stuff out. I'll just try to avoid them. How about that? Don't show the age restricted Brandon playlist. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. I played the first one. I haven't gotten through the second one yet, but the first one was pretty good. If you enjoy that kind of game, which I'm assuming you do, because you played God of War and you're playing Witcher, and really it's a similar feel. Hold on, I'll look it up. 1 second. Horizon Zero Dawn. Oh wow, that's a pretty good sale too. 75% off. Normally $50. And this is the complete edition, which means you're also getting the DLC that came out for it. Oh, what the heck is the DLC called? I can't remember what the DLC is called, but it should come with this since this is the complete edition. So I did play this a while ago. It's very, it's mostly fast-paced, as you can see from the combat going on here, but there are definitely slower moments where you're working on the story, you're discussing things with characters. The only thing that I really took issue with in it was that navigating around like the NPC villages was not really a fun experience because they're constantly repeating themselves over and over and over again, and it like takes you out of the immersion. So that was obnoxious, but besides that, it's a beautiful game, got a great design. The combat is really fun and chaotic, but also not hard to learn. I mean, the idea of robot dinosaurs is just really appealing to most people anyway. And I mean, that's essentially what they are. There's other animals in there too, but you just get to come across some real behemoths, and it just makes the fighting really exciting. Like, see that? I don't know if you saw that. Oh yeah, it does. The Frozen Wilds. That's what it is. It includes the DLC, the Frozen Wilds, which I also did. So you just get to fight some absolute monstrosities in this game. And when you're taking them down with nothing but, you know, the tools on your back and a bow and arrow and a spear, it just gives you this really satisfying feeling. Because you're like, yeah, I just took down what is basically the equivalent of a T-Rex. You feel awesome. So if you like getting a little bit of that adrenaline rush from games, then Horizon Zero Dawn is definitely a good choice. And again, because you enjoyed God of War and The Witcher 3, this one should be kind of an easy win for you in terms of finding another game to play. And yes, I know you're waiting for Ragnarok. That's is there an update on that? Let's check. Whoops. No, it's not on here yet, so that must be a ways away. If you're playing on PS5, they're also running a holiday sale, and Horizon Complete Edition is $10. Okay. Yeah, so on PC, it is $12.50. On PS5, it's $10. So either way, good deal. Okay. Here's where I left off. Gourd. Now, I know this says mixed review, which I think is unfortunate, although that does say for all. Recent is mostly positive. So this was another game I tried during one of the Steam Next Fests, and I actually thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed the demo that I played. Do they still have a demo? Oh, they still have a demo. Awesome. So you can try this one out for free and see for yourself. It's 50% off, so just under $18. This is another one of those like base building strategic games. It had a really interesting feel to it. Like the animation, the art style, it's not that it was like amazing or anything, but I don't know, there was just something about it that was unique in the way that it was executed. So it's not going to like blow your mind or anything. It just made it more interesting, more enjoyable to look at. So if you do like things like Age of Empires, Civilization, Age of Wonders, games like that, then I would recommend giving this a go. Just download the demo and try it out for a bit before making up your mind. This one I felt was pretty enjoyable. I liked the dialogue. The voice acting in it was actually quite good. The way that you can assign the workers and the skill sets they have, that was good. I thought it was pretty enjoyable myself. On PC. Yeah. $13 on PC, not bad for the whole thing. Yeah, no, it's a good deal for sure. I haven't played Horizon on PC, but haven't heard anything bad about the port. No, I haven't heard anything negative about that port either. I have the God of War and Horizon games. I'll get back to them once I finish up Jedi Survivor. Yeah, those are all big games, so it'll take some time. Arisen is an indie game I found. It's mostly narrative. Let me go to it. This is still in early access, so just disclaimer there. Some people do not like to get games while they're still in early access. I typically don't mind, as long as the developer is being forthcoming with it and is doing regular updates. I've actually purchased quite a few early access games for Steam. And it does look like a demo is available. So this is, well, it says it right there. It's choose your own adventure. So if you like games that are very similar to visual novels, not like full-blown visual novels, there are actually like systems to interact with, but the style is like that. It's mostly like looking at pictures and making decisions and stuff. Then this would be a good game for you. I own 2 games that are very similar to this. It's not the same studio that made them, but it's the same kind of style where it presents itself like a visual novel, but there's more things that you can interact with. So let me pop over to my library and see if I can find it. Oh, help. Yeah, here we go. Here's one of them. Help will come tomorrow. So this is one of the ones I have. I'll go to the store page here. See if this one's on sale. This one also has a free demo, which is surprising because it's been out for several years. But yep, they still have a free demo. It is on an 80% sale, which is pretty good. So only $4 for this one. I have their other game, Dead in Vinland. So as you can see from the video here, even though it's mostly like looking at a visual novel, there are things that you can actually interact with. So there's base building elements. You have to gather supplies and create things to support the people. There's also a pretty big challenging element in this one and in Dead in Vinland, where you have like conditions that have to be met or you're going to fail. So like in this one, you can see they're out in the cold. So there are various things that can happen to kill off these characters. And the less characters you have available to do the work, the less chance you're actually going to survive. So let me catch up with the chat for a moment here. Sony said at Comic-Con they were planning Ragnarok release end of year on PC. Yeah, it's not looking like that's going to happen. I enjoy all the big story games, keeps me busy and tuned out from life. Can't really say I blame you. So yeah, the idea behind this game is that you end up basically stranded out in the winter wilderness because of, as it says here, a revolution that's happening. So you're in the Siberian wilderness, you were on a train, now you're off the train. You have to avoid the soldiers that are kind of like patrolling the area. So that adds an extra layer of challenge onto it. You have to steer clear of them, but you still have to gather resources. You still have to build things at your camp. You still have to feed your people and make sure that they're drinking water. And each character has their own personality and their own skills base. So, you know, one person might be really skilled at building, but then they have a weakness too. So like I remember one of them has a weakness for alcohol. So you have to try to prevent him from drinking too much while also being productive with base building or resource seeking. And then there's like one woman who's like a really good seamstress, but is like super clumsy or something. So, you know, the percentage chance of actually being able to, you know, complete a structure or something is down because she's really clumsy. And there is, of course, a story to go behind all of this as well, to OFG's point. You know, you get to know the characters and their stories as you pass day by day because you're having these interactions with them. Every night there is like a campfire scene where you get to talk to the characters and you learn more about them and their lives. So that is one of them. The other one that I have, if you like something that feels a little more fictional, is Dead in Vinland. And this one is also on sale for $4.59, so that's pretty good. This is by the same developers, Ishtar Games, And it's still that, as they say, survival management style, but it's in a totally different setting. As you can see, this looks like a fantasy setting here. It's based on a Viking family that ends up shipwrecked on an island, and now they have to survive. And what's really cool about this one is that you meet a lot of people on the island, and you can like recruit them and have them come back to your base to help out. And they all have like different types of skill sets too, just like with the other one. So you can build up your base, but keeping in mind that while you're building up your base with people to help, that also means more mouths to feed. And the challenge, this one I would say is actually more challenging because you have these this group of, well, essentially villains that are on the island and are demanding tribute from anyone on that island too. So they come in relatively early on in the game and start demanding tribute. And if you don't give them tribute, you start running into issues. You'll start having fights more often, and eventually you may have a conflict with their leader and just get wiped out. So the idea is that you have to build up your base, you have to build up your people, you have to build up your skills, your resources, so that you can challenge the leader. Just voted? What did I miss something? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's the model building competition. Thank you for voting, OFG. Also, don't like just automatically vote for me, guys. I'll vote Jolly Roger. No nepotism here. Well, Brandon, you must have voted already, because when I went to vote, it was like, no, you can't vote. It's already been voted for on this Wi-Fi. No, someone vote for Waz. I'm happy with my single vote. It's funny. Vote automatically. No, I want people to actually like check out the builds by the other people in the competition. It wasn't just me. It was a group of 6 or 7 of us total, I think. And I think all of the builds were impressive. Everyone did a really good job. I was happy with mine, don't get me wrong, but I thought all of the builds were really good. And part of the point of doing the competition was to try to get people to seek out other content creators, you know, to kind of branch out and check out the content of other creators and help out other channels. Because we're all small channels, some smaller than others. I'm definitely one of the smaller ones, but we're all, you know, under 10K. Vote auto? What do you mean vote auto? Honestly, all of them were cool, and I want that game. I think it's been free for a few times. Oh, has it? Oh, well, I mean, I appreciate the vote, but I don't think mine was the best build. And I would appreciate you guys checking out other content creators that participated in the competition. Yeah, Epic Games is not my preferred platform for getting games, but they do have a free game. No, more than one free game. They have a couple free games every month. So I have been basically using it to get free games. Essentially, I don't think I've bought a single thing on Epic Games yet, but it's worth it for the free games. And Alan Wake, the copy that I got with my graphics card, had to be downloaded through Epic Games, so like I didn't have a choice anyway. Never bought from there either. Yeah. All right, moving on to Expeditions Rome. 60% off at $18. It's not bad. It's pretty good sale. This one may look like a Age of Empires, Civilization, something like that, but it's actually not. It's actually a CRPG. Sorry, Abood. CRPGs were eventually going to come up. So if you like the strategy and thoughtfulness that goes into turn-based RPGs, like Baldur's Gate 3, then this may be something for you to check out. Obviously, it's a very different environment, you know, being in Rome, so there is some history that goes into this game. It's not complete fiction, but if you like that kind of gameplay, then you should check it out. I don't think there's a demo. No. There's not a demo for this one, unfortunately, but there's definitely some gameplay that you can check out on YouTube. So it's definitely, like, I do not anticipate something like this to have the same grandeur, if you will, as something like Baldur's Gate 3. And I think that's something that all Baldur's Gate 3 players need to kind of keep in mind as we're looking at other CRPGs to kind of, you know, satisfy the itch. It was a really big undertaking, and it's probably going to be a while until we see another game quite like it. Hey, Spirit! Welcome. Yes, things are going well. Thank you. Turn-based RPGs I have played sometimes. I consider myself famous or nothing, small channel and still growing. I looked up to a few of the bigger variety gamers. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being small. We all got to start somewhere, right? Just got to, you know, kind of grind our way to the top. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's what a lot of you guys are doing. And that's just part of the game, right? Nothing wrong with it. What was I saying about CRPGs? Sorry. So yeah, this is definitely not going to hit the same way as BG3, but if you're somebody that enjoys the strategy of CRPGs and the story behind RPGs, but maybe you want something that feels a little more grounded, a little more realistic, or maybe you're just really into history, maybe you're a history buff, maybe you're really interested in the Roman Empire, well, then this could definitely be entertaining for you. Let me go back to the wish list. Next up is Alaloth, Champions of the Four Kingdoms. This is another CRPG, but I guess you technically can't call it a CRPG because it's actually an ARPG. So action RPG versus like strategic. This one is in early access right now. Just keep that in mind, but it's also 60% off, down to $10, which is pretty good. This one does have co-op, which is nice. Not all of them offer co-op. This one does. So when I say ARPG, I mean action RPG, and the best thing to kind of analog that to would be the Diablo games, since those are pretty popular and well known by folks. So basically, instead of having to kind of plan out your turns like you would in something like Baldur's Gate 3 or Rome Expeditions, like we were just looking at, you know, it's free action. It's acting in the moment. So you don't get to plan it out. You have to basically just do it in the moment and have good reflexes. I do not typically play ARPGs because I actually like the slower, more strategic feel of the CRPGs, of having that turn-based element. But this was recommended by a channel that I follow called Wolfheart FPS. And I usually take his recommendations to heart. If you haven't checked him out, I would recommend it. He does mostly focus on CRPGs, Wolfheart FPS. He's got a pretty big following now, but I started following him back when he had under 1,000 subscribers. And he's grown substantially since then. And he has actually done some very special events with Larian Studios. Hey, GG! That's okay. Being late is fine. An entire generation of gamers contained within one man. Did you already go over VR games and games for handhelds? No, I have not. I would probably need some recommendations from you on that because I do not have VR yet. It's something that I've wanted for a while. Well, I should say something that Brandon and I have wanted for a while, but it just has not been in the budget. What do you think of a game called Fortnite? Do you really want me to answer that? I recognize AI independence. Let me check my data sets. Need to download from the cloud. I mean, damn it, I've been... Well done. Oh my goodness. Def's Door, 60% off and only $8, so pretty good here. Def's Door is another really cutesy game. It is adventure, RPG, action adventure. So think like Zelda-y, but I would say more cutesy than the recent Zelda games have been. This is another game published by Devolver Digital. They definitely have a style for sure. The art style of this one is different, but it's still, again, it goes back to that, like, it's cutesy, but it's also dark at the same time. It's almost like game versions of Tim Burton's movies. Excuse me. So this one you play as a crow, and basically your job is reaping the souls of the dead. But then your soul is stolen and you have to track down the thief. So this was just one of those games where, like, just watching a little bit of gameplay, I was like, this looks freaking adorable. I haven't played the newer Zelda games. Don't come at me for not having played them. I swear they're on my list. But this reminds me of some of the older ones. In terms of the style that I've seen, the style of combat, the style of traversal, interacting with characters and stuff, it looks super cute. So if you're into action adventure, but you want a little bit of story in there, and you want that cutesy feel, so you want to have like a good pace to your gaming, but you want some of the coziness you get from like slower paced games like Stardew Valley, Paleo Pine, stuff like that, then I think this would be good for you. Ultimate handheld PC game. What do I think? I'm thinking Hades. For handheld titles, you can check the thing that says deck verified, but that only narrows it down to like 8,000 titles. I've never played, but everyone loves that title, no doubt. Be happy to add some recommendations near the end when you're done. Okay, yeah. No, I'd be happy to get some from you. That is not my area of expertise, so I will rely on the AI the person to do it. Person in the chat to do it. What? I didn't say anything. Okay. Moving on to Marvel's Midnight Suns. So, this one has caused some confusion because it is made by the developers of XCOM. And you would think that if it's from the creators of XCOM, then it would probably feel really similar to XCOM. It even looks similar to XCOM. Like, the design of the characters looks similar. The animation looks similar. The, battlefields look similar. But the combat does not work the same in this game. I still want to try it, even though I prefer the tacticality of XCOM. I don't think I'm going to like this system as much. But this one changes it up by having a card system in it. Let me see if they have a picture of it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, they have a card system in it. Like, you have a deck of cards for the characters that you bring into the fight. And obviously it's Marvel. So, like, the characters that you bring in are, set characters from the Marvel universe. And the cards, like, determine the moves that you do during combat. So it's kind of a weird feeling, I think, for an XCOM-like game to bring in a card mechanic. But, I mean, it could be interesting. I've played some deck builders before. I usually play deck builders on tabletop games rather than video games. But I have played some video games with deck building mechanics. I'm also a big Magic the Gathering player. So I'm not going to write it off because it's using a different mechanic like that. I just wanted to clarify for anyone who was thinking about this game because they really love XCOM that keep in mind this is going to feel quite different when it comes to the combat part. I've also heard that some of the dialogue and character interactions felt a little bleh, not very strong. So this might not be the best in terms of like, trying to get a solid Marvel story out of it. But for the most part, I've heard good things about it. And I do intend on checking this out eventually. 67% off is pretty good. And I think when I have more of a budget available, I will get it. I have this, but I've only played for like 2 hours. It's better than it sounds with cards because you get to make the deck. There are also mods out there to increase your squad size, deck size. 97% chance to web. Spidey shoots his own foot. Well, you know what, though? That's kind of a nice thing because that's exactly what happened in XCOM. Excuse me for a second. My allergies are catching up to me. In XCOM, you had so many situations where you'd have like 99% chance to hit and you'd like shoot one of your allies or something. It was ridiculous. Excuse me. So I'm hoping that that reference like actually is somewhat realistic. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, guys. My allergies are really, really taking over. The weather has been kind of like woo all over the place in terms of temperatures, and it always makes my allergies worse. XCOM subtitle is literally XCOM save Scrum forever. All right, next up is It Takes Two. I have watched other people play this. I haven't played it myself yet, but this is really cute. It's co-op. It has to be co-op, so keep that in mind. Like, you have to play this game co-op. You cannot complete the game without another person. And the story is basically two parents who are really struggling in their relationship. They're on the verge of divorce, and their kid makes a wish and it ends up in them turning into little toys. So they have to traverse their real world, their home world, and the toys within their home and the yard and everything as these little toys. And they're working with this character called the Book of Love, trying to basically make things right and become human again. So it's a very emotional story, but it's also cutesy and silly and fun. If you're familiar with the game A Way Out, it is similar to that in the sense of like the core structure of this is a game that has to be co-op. Everything is about working together to make it work. So A Way Out is very different in terms of its graphical design and the story that it tells, because A Way Out is about two prisoners that work together to escape prison. So not exactly the same as two parents on the verge of divorce learning to love again. Little different dynamic there. But again, that core concept of you have to work together, you have to be a team. This does not work unless you get it together. So for those who really enjoy a co-op experience, for those who have a friend or a significant other that they really like to play games with, I definitely recommend this. And the nice thing about this one, I don't think this applies to A Way Out, but on this one, only one person has to buy the game, because you'll see you get the Friends Pass for free. So you only need to buy it once. So that is a pretty big perk. Okay, next on the list is Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. This is the enhanced edition. Now, Pathfinder, some of you are probably familiar with because it's an RPG series that has been around for a really long time. Pathfinder isn't just a video game series. It is also a tabletop RPG series. And I don't actually know when it came out on tabletop, but I think it was quite some time ago. Maybe I don't think it's as old as D&D, but I think it's up there in age by now. One person need to buy this game, not two. Yes, that's correct. It also has remote play together, which means someone can host a game and you can play it over. Oh, okay, good to know. Good to know for sure. My mates love that A Way Out game. It can be hilarious. Yeah, Brandon and I played A Way Out together, and some of it was quite funny. Gets depressing towards the end, but yeah, some of it was very funny. Okay. So Pathfinder, like I said, it's not just a video game series, it's also a tabletop RPG series. There's quite a few Pathfinder games out already. I have not tried any of them yet, but the reason that I'm interested in this is because it's got a similar feel to a lot of the other RPGs that I have either played or been interested in. So obviously from the aesthetic here, you can tell it's not set up quite like BG3. Not quite that graphically enhanced, I guess I would say. But it is still very much focused on the story. It's very much focused on the character. It's very much focused on the hero's journey, if you will. It's a fantasy game, of course, just like BG3. I would relate this better to Larian's previous games, Divinity, Original Sin 1 and 2. I believe that it has a feeling closer to that. Which are also excellent games that you should check out if you have not played them already, especially if you are a fan of Larian's Baldur's Gate 3. You'll want to see what they did previously, of what actually put them on the map to begin with, to make them able to do a Baldur's Gate game. So if you like games like that, if you're really into the fantasy RPGs, if you're really into games that focus on the story and the character development and the hero's journey, then I think you will enjoy this one. And 70% off, only $12 right now. That's very good. And then the last one on my wish list that's actually out is Firewatch. And we're taking like a hard pivot here in terms of types of games. This is definitely not RPG. It's not fantasy. It's kind of a walking simulator of sorts. I hate to use the term walking simulator because it gets such a negative connotation. Like, why would I want to play something that's just basically walking around? And I feel like the term walking simulator just kind of takes away from the important aspects of the games that are labeled that way, which is that you're experiencing a story as you are walking around the environment. Sorry about that. So it's not just, I am just walking around for the sake of walking around, in which case, well, you know, maybe you should like put on a jacket and walk outside or something. It's the narrative that goes along with it. It's the story that is being told through the environment, through the interactions with the environment, through journal pages or a walkie-talkie in this case, or notes left behind, or whatever it is, whatever, what's the word I want for it? Damn, I can't think of the word I want. Whatever they're using to deliver that story to the player. Don't talk about Death Stranding like that. Fair enough. So Firewatch is, I guess it has a similar feel to, what the heck is that game called? The Edith Finch one. I can't remember the full name of it, but if you're familiar with Edith Finch, it's got the same kind of feel as that game. I think Firewatch also has a little bit of a feeling similar to The Long Dark, except that it's not a survival game, which The Long Dark is. But in terms of like the world and the interactions with it, it feels similar. Art style's a little bit different too. The Long Dark is like super watercolory. This one's got a little bit more of a realistic feel to its graphics. Still got that like cartoon veneer on it, but definitely a more realistic feel than The Long Dark. So this one I think is really good for people who are just looking for a shorter game that focuses on the journey, the character's journey, their emotional journey, really, if you will. Okay, so that is What Remains of Edith Finch. That's it. Thank you, Brandon. God, that was going to kill me. So that does it for my wish list. GG, if you want to throw in any recommendations for VR or handhelds, please feel free to throw those into the chat. I can definitely recommend some stuff from my Steam library as well, which I've got too much here, but I'll just pick out like a few favorites essentially. So Baldur's Gate 3, if you have watched almost anything on my channel, you know that I'm a fan of Baldur's Gate 3. That has been the majority of my content for a while now. I'm also streaming Baldur's Gate 3 once a week. Every once in a while, I miss my stream because I'm doing other things, but I'm trying to stream it once a week. I've been doing build videos for it. I've done some tier list videos. One of my tier list videos just went out last night. So I really can't speak highly enough about Baldur's Gate 3. It's had some bug issues, which is unfortunate, but not surprising because it was such a big endeavor. But if you like story-driven RPGs, if you like the strategy of turn-based combat, I just don't think it gets better than this. Like, this is kind of the premium, if you will. What Larian Studios has created here is just an absolute masterpiece. The narrative behind this, the way that you get to interact with characters, the way that you get to make decisions and the impacts and the relationships that you build with the characters and the ways that you get to, try to get through conflicts. It's not always you have to kill everybody. Sometimes you can talk your way out of it. Sometimes you can lie your way out of it. Sometimes you can sneak your way out of it. There's just so much you can do with this game. I only have one complete playthrough of it so far, but I definitely intend on completing it multiple times because you're always going to miss something. There's just no way to get everything out of the way in one playthrough, which is part of the appeal, is you can just play it over and over and over again. And in some way, your experience is going to be different. For VR, Half-Life Alyx. Okay, I've heard good things about that one. Phasmophobia. Yep, I can comment on that one. Vertigo 2. I Expect You to Die series. The Forest. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Vertigo 2, or I Expect You to Die, or Life of Alyx. Phasmophobia is promising, but I think it's still got a ways to go. I played it just recently with Brandon and Jolly. It's definitely got the right foundation, and the type of game it is quite fun, the like whole ghost hunting thing. But I feel like there are now contenders to Phasmophobia that deliver better than it does. I know it was like one of the originals of that genre of games. And there's just been like so many different ghost hunting games that have come out since Phasmophobia, but it's starting to get outrun by some of its competitors. Demonologist, that probably doesn't have VR yet, to be fair. Demonologist definitely delivers on the ghost hunting experience better than Phasmophobia does right now. I think Phasmophobia is moving in the right direction. They're doing a lot of updates now after a long period of not doing updates, which there was a reason for it, to be sure. So I think they've got a little ways to go, but they're headed in the right direction, and I do expect to see better things from them. Tetris Effect, Into the Radius. Be warned, this might give you PTSD. Okay. Saints and Sinners. Not in VR, though. I don't think there's much in that way for ghost hunting. These games I mentioned either have VR support exclusively. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I think the majority of ghost hunting games that have come out do not support VR. So if that's specifically what you're looking for, a VR ghost hunting experience, then yeah, you're right. Phasmophobia is the way to go. If you're looking for just ghost hunting experiences in general, then I would recommend Demonologist over Phasmophobia. The Forest, I think, is really enjoyable. I personally wouldn't want to play it in VR because I would probably break something with all the flailing I would do trying to fight the cannibals that come after you. But as a game, I do recommend it, though. It is a good game. Sons of the Forest is now out as well, which is seems to be a strong follow-up to The Forest. And yikes, my voice is starting to go on me. Sorry, guys. I'm probably going to have to wrap it up soon because I can't talk anymore. Sons of the Forest is a very strong follow-up to The Forest. I haven't actually finished The Forest myself, but I've played enough of it that I feel like I can recommend it. It's a very fun survival base building type game. Very challenging, very creepy. Those games I mentioned all have VR support out of the box, VR exclusively. Definitely look up Half-Life Alyx and what's TWD? The Walking Dead? Is that what you mean? The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners? Unfortunately, Sons of the Forest doesn't have VR. Yeah, no. I know, Sons of the Forest does not have VR yet. I have a feeling they will add it, though, since The Forest added VR. So I think that will become available. Okay, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, gotcha. Yeah, I remember seeing some gameplay of that, and it looked really interesting. That's something that I would want to check out myself if I had VR available to me. And I mean, VR is becoming more available than it used to. There's now several different systems you can get it for. So it's getting there. It's becoming more accessible. It's got a little bit of ways to go because it's still pretty pricey, but it will come down in price as more systems become available and more games are available for it. Until I played Sons of the Forest, I'd never fancied a three-legged woman as far as I know. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What is her name? Is it Victoria? Caroline? God, I can't remember what her name is, but I know who you're talking about. You called her Lola. She actually has a name, though. I can't remember what it is, though. It might be Victoria. I'll have to look it up. So yeah, I thank you, Gigi. I think those are some really solid recommendations for VR titles for sure. Do you have any that you would just recommend in general for handhelds? Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl, right, Jolly? While you're getting to that, another game that I have completed that I would highly recommend is Frostpunk. Now, Frostpunk has a sequel coming out. I don't know if it says when yet. Let me take a peek. Frostpunk 2 sometime next year. Okay, so we don't know yet, but it does have a sequel coming out. It is another strategy base builder game, but it's got like a beautiful aesthetic to it, and it is kind of punishing and brutal. So if you like, this is going to sound really weird, but if you like feeling like you're being punished while playing a city builder, then Frostpunk is the game for you, because like it feels like no matter what you do, you're doing something wrong. All the choices that you have to make for the city and the people are hard choices to make. There's going to be consequences to the choices that you make, no matter which one you do. It's brutal in the sense that like failure always feels imminent, because at the core of this city is an actual core, like a heating element, and you have to keep that running at all times, and you have to branch off of that core to create other heating elements, and you have to make sure that heat gets to all of the buildings, because you guys are basically thrust into a post-apocalyptic winter nightmare, as it were, where the climate has just gone all crazy, and there's blizzards all the time, and there's snow everywhere. So it's constantly cold. The temperatures can easily drop into the negatives. So you have to always keep that core running, and then you have to have heat consistently going to your houses, your hospitals, your workshops, your bars potentially, because you might have bars, your church if you have a church, your trying to think, like your smithies, your wood shops, like all kinds of stuff. Everything has to have heat. So it is very, very challenging to make sure that you always have enough fuel to keep up with that demand. And it's very stressful when the core starts to shut down because you haven't been able to keep up with that coal demand. And yes, Gigi, I think when I asked you to give recommendations, you were away. So that's fine. Just throw them in there when you get the chance. So if you like that kind of brutal resource management / city builder, definitely recommend Frostpunk, or you can wait for the second one that's coming out sometime next year. I'm really looking forward to this one, as you can see, because I added it all the way back in 2021. I mentioned the Life is Strange games earlier. I recommend all of them. I would recommend the first one the most out of all of them in the series. You can see them right in a row here because I finished all of them. I felt like the first one was the most diverse and the most impactful. And by diverse, I don't actually mean the cast of characters, so sorry if that came off misleading. I mean diverse in the sense of like the way how do I say this without doing spoilers? And the way that you navigate the game. I'm just going to put it really generically because I don't want to do spoilers. It is a very interesting approach. And it is a highly immersive and emotional journey. All of the Life is Strange games are, but the first one especially. The other one that is not actually a Life is Strange game, but it's by the same developers, is Tell Me Why. It looks like the first chapter of the game is available for free, so that's cool. You could try it out without actually buying it yet. So this is by the same developers. It's a story about a brother and sister and the trauma that they experienced as children, and trying to process that trauma and understand what really happened between them and their mother and their mother's passing. Don't really want to say more than that because that could get into spoiler territory. I don't have a handheld, but when I want one, it's when I'm playing deck builder games and isometric action games. Cyberpunk 2077, Hogwarts Legacy, Witcher 3, Persona 5 Royal, Spider-Man Remastered, Warframe, Valheim, All of those games are Steam Deck verified, meaning as long as you have any handheld like the Steam Deck or a Windows handheld like a Ryzen or ROG Ally, they'll run well. Okay. I'd say those are some strong recommendations. GG can comment better, but I'm thinking Slay the Spire, Inscription, Hades, Curse of the Dead Gods, Monster Train Ascent, things like that. To be honest, I haven't played those games, but I've heard of them all and heard they're all recommended. Just need Geek to sign off or just buy one and ask for forgiveness. Yeah, that's it's not good financial timing, let's put it that way. So the handheld will have to wait until things are more stable and secure, but it will come eventually. Just like all good things do. Hopefully. Monster Hunter, it's not really for me, but some people love it. Yeah, Brandon is actually a huge Monster Hunter fan. And I could see that working on a handheld. I don't think I would personally want to play it on a handheld because I actually want the screen to be bigger and for me to feel like I can see more of what's going on, but I could see other people enjoying that experience on handheld. And actually, I kind of feel the same way about some of the recommendations you put in there, GG, like Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077. But again, even though I would prefer the bigger screen when playing a game like that, I can understand why others might want the portability. It's really nice to be able to take games on the go, which is part of the reason why, we have the Switch. So obviously you can't play the same kinds of games on the Switch typically that you can on like PC or PS5 or something, but at least gives you a portable option and a more affordable portable option than some of the others out there. Might need to get a Legion Go 8.8-inch display. Also has FPS RTS mode, which turns the right controller into a mouse, basically. Oh, interesting. Oh, and the Legion can play all Switch games. Does Nintendo know this? Because they tend to be kind of sticklers with stuff like that. They really don't like people borrowing from them. Don't look at my Switch emulation guide. Hey, look, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying Nintendo seems to have a problem with it. I mean, there's been issues with people streaming Nintendo games before, which getting in trouble for doing Let's Plays or streams of games is almost unheard of. Which is part of the reason why I wanted to do a gaming channel, not just because I'm passionate about it and I love games, but also because game channels tend to have the least amount of issues with copyright. If you try to do a music channel, you're almost definitely going to run into copyright issues because music is by far the worst offender when it comes to copyright. And then if you do something on TV or movies, kind of in the middle. Obviously, there's fair use. There's fair use for everything. But music is the hardest to get around for fair use, whereas gaming is the easiest. I guess they just like the free advertising. Totally just memeing. Yeah, their lawyers are kind of insane. Emulation is completely illegal. It's the downloading of ROMs that isn't legal. Looking into a DJ channel. Yep, it looks so difficult. Yeah, you really got to be careful with that, Jolly. Nintendo has also made it actually impossible to purchase some of their older games even when people are standing there yelling to take our money. Yeah, Nintendo's got to kind of come off their high horse. Side note, Hull is suing Oats. Now, I know who you're talking about when you say Hull and Oats. That's such a weird statement to me, though. Hull is suing Oats. It's almost like saying, two brothers are suing each other. No, I believe you. It just seems so weird that, you know, the two halves of this band from quite some time ago is now in a lawsuit. But yeah, music. I'm telling you, like, I love music and I love to sing. And I actually used to like put karaoke stuff on a different YouTube channel. But like, even though I never got a copyright strike, I definitely always got copyright claims. And one of them actually did get taken down entirely. So even though, you know, it's not like a copy of what they're doing because it's me singing it and the music isn't theirs. It's, you know, a karaoke version of the music. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt. The Dutch Granary. Zelda has filed a restraining order against Link. Even with claims, they could later turn into strikes as well, says Zero again. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes they do start as claims and later turn to strikes, which is part of the reason why, as far as music goes, I just try to be really careful about it on this channel, and I mostly use YouTube's audio library so that if something does go wrong, I can just point at YouTube and be like, it's your fault. But I also use a lot of music from Kevin Mac. Oh, I always pronounce his name wrong. It's McLeod or MacLeod. I think it's McLeod. Because he does a ton of great music and it's all under Creative Commons. So as long as you give him credit in the description, you're good to go. Holland Oats. Wow. Well done. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, because my voice is really starting to die on me and I still have to stream tonight. So I need to like drink a bunch of water and tea and try to bring my voice back from the dead before the next stream. But I hope you found this helpful to have me, you know, talking about the stuff that I am interested in from it, some of the stuff I already have, some of the stuff that I want to get. Hopefully that was helpful in some way. Thank you to... Oh, hey, Paul. I didn't even know you were there. You got Model Builder? That's awesome. I hope you enjoy it. I found it very fun. I'm definitely going to be playing more of it. Official key sellers might not be directly from Steam, but they are authorized like Greenman. Yes, yeah. I just heard of Greenman just today, actually, from another YouTuber. So that's one to check out too. It's not a plug for myself. I have zero connection with that website. Fair enough. Also, content creators, there are some websites where you can apply for keys and possibly get them just given to you by the developers. The one that I use, and I believe Jolly uses as well, is called Key Mailer. So you register for the website and you can just basically sign up to receive a key. There's usually not even like a form to fill out or anything. It's just like you click a button and then you just tell them how likely you are to make content with the game if you get the key. So very simple to use, and who doesn't love some free games, right? Okay, so thank you again, everyone, for coming out. I appreciate you. This was totally experimental today. Had no idea if it was going to work or not, but I appreciate you coming out. I hope this was helpful to you. Gigi, thank you for coming in and offering some insights on VR and handheld games, which is definitely not my area of expertise. And if anyone in the chat is interested in handhelds, GG or Gamers Generation is the right resource for that. Lots of good videos available on those various handheld systems. So I will leave it here. And I hope to see everyone in my stream at 8 p.m. EST tonight, because I'm going to be doing some Overcooked 2 shenanigans with a friend, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.